It had been 5 months after that horrible incident. I still wouldn't sleep after that experience of that gosh damn cursed episode of the Garfield show. It was January 4th of 2018, so I was at school doing my studies. After class was dismissed, I kept hearing people gossip about something. But the only thing I heard was, he's a murderer, and why would John do that? I tried to hold back my shocked expression and thought to myself, did those guys watch the exact same thing I watched? I rushed back home and switched on the TV, and the channel was on Cartoon Network, so I was stuck around watching shows like Ben 10, The Amazing World of Gumball, and many other shows. I noticed that there was no Garfield show bumper, like that incident, so I went to my friend's house to see if I can get any evidence of the alternative cut of Double Vision, and he sighed and asked me to come with him. He followed me to a large basement when there was a table and a few pieces of paper. The papers were of photos of the episode. These included John's appearance that he was about to kill Odie, him with the corpses of Odie, and even John's angry stare, and probably the worst of all, the picture of Garfield, where it was shown that Garfield had his head, missing. I asked my friend of how he got that picture of Garfield, and he told me to follow him and then showed me the forward site where he could watch the Garfield show episodes. He told me that the episode was aired on this and he watched it until the very end. I angrily asked him on how he got the picture of Garfield's corpse and shows me the episode with extra footage. I was shocked when he showed me this and told me that he couldn't sleep and was too scared to watch Garfield or any of the other characters again. I will tell you the episode he showed me in my own words. The episode started like how Double Vision episode like I just saw, but with the things took a turn for the worst. As Mr. Barker leaves, with John angrily killing Garfield and Odie, I saw it like 5 months ago. I noticed something odd. In my vision of the episode, the screen cut to black and only John's crazy look as Garfield's screams were heard, but in this version, Garfield's fate was worse. John started slashing Garfield like Jason Voorhees with a chainsaw. Although we don't really see it though, we do hear blood splattering on the walls and John laughs like crazy. Garfield, on the other hand, was just crying for help, as I was sobbing hysterically. As John was doing this, he turned his face towards the camera, and his face was horrible. He had a crooked smile, and his teeth were sharp as knives. His eyes were bloodshot, and his hair was all mangled. The screen cut to black except for John, and the text read appearing saying, "You're next." John's eyes were glowing red, and the episode immediately cut to black and then ended. After my friend showed me the episode, I became more scared about this incident. I keep having nightmares about John coming up to my house and killing me. My friend also said that this also scared him for his life. And please, if you have any more of this episode, please let me know. And that, my little pretties, was the Garfield Show, Double Vision, Alternative Cut, Part 2. The Garfield Show Lost Episode Creepypasta. Written by Affan Jamsari. Affan Jamsari, thank you so much for the story. Thank you so much for sending me this story. This was appreciated. So, my final thoughts on the story. I kind of like this one a little bit better than the first part. But I do have some things to say about this one. So, before I get started with, about it, I'm just going to simply just sit there and I guess you could kind of say me explaining certain parts of, this story. So first of all, I would like to say the story, it's a bit cliche. It's cliched. That's the only thing I could definitely say was the main issue. It's just cliched. But however, though, I'm going to simply sit there and say that I really thought that this episode actually, the episode was, I guess you could say was okay, but it did need some work. And, just like with the first Double Vision, I didn't really care for that episode that whole lot. But to be completely and utterly honest, I honestly really don't care. But right here, I definitely have to say that the Double Vision Part 1 was, it was alright. It wasn't bad or anything. It was not terrible. It does need some work. And maybe that might be just me, but for some reason, The alternative cut, part, I guess the first part was, not that great. But, this part was alright. It had, like, an interesting continuation of the first part. So, I'm not gonna lie. It did have, like, a really good concept to it. Like, I really like how, this is like kind of explains more about, what happened in, part one. It's kind of really good that the person the author sat there and did that. I did notice a few grammatical errors and a few punctuation errors in the story, so some of the parts of the story was a little bit hard to read, especially with the lack of proper punctuation and stuff like that, but it wasn't really a main issue. But I would suggest putting this through Google Docs, as Google Docs can really help you fix with the issues and the errors. Okay, that's one thing I'm definitely gonna say. Now, I really have to say this, that, the cliches in this story, like the blood and, like, the hype, like, the bloodshot eyes and, John sitting there and killing everyone, like, okay. I'm not gonna sit here and say this right now, that, like, those I kind of said that in the first part, like, the first part of it was the fact that, this story was basically all over the place with that, but I definitely have to say, it wasn't a bad story. It's not bad or anything like that. It's a pretty good one. So I definitely have to say that I really do, like how this one was going. It definitely had a good concept. Like, I know it's kind of still cliched, but at least it did provide, a pretty good concept to it. Of it. But I really do like how this one went out. It was pretty interesting for what it is. It had a good, going for. But I did have some issues with it, like I said before. I did have some, negatives to say about it, but I'm definitely have to say the story does need some work. The story just needs some work on it, but other than that, the story was not bad. It was better than the first part, and at least to me that is. But I feel that there needs to be a little more, an expansion perhaps. Like, the story could be maybe used as an expansion per se, because in that way the story would have, a better ideal to what's actually happening in that. Like, I'm not trying to sit there and, sound, mean. I'm not trying to sit there and, become, like, I don't know, a jerk or anything like that. But I definitely have to say that this story does need a little bit of work. And, I'm not gonna lie, the cliche parts could be left out. But then, the rest of it seemed to be alright. It was slightly better than the first part, but it just needs some work. That's all I have to say. It just needs some work. But I guess that's kind of all I have to say. Oh, sorry about that. I don't know why. I kind of feel like crap for some reason. But I guess that's probably because of allergies going on right now. But what am I saying? I don't know. Okay. I definitely have to say, I really enjoyed how this story went out. It was flat out amazing, really well done. Really like how the storyline went out. It was pretty good, not gonna lie. Actually had a good concept going for it. It was interesting, had a really good, idea of what this was trying to provide, and it was a pretty good sequel to the first part. I found this one to be a lot more better than the other part, but, that might be just me, but I really honestly don't care. But I guess that's all I just have to say. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna sit here and say this right now. This is just simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these creepypastas. This is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of the story, I think I gave that one a 4 out of 10, so I'm gonna give this one a 6 out of 10. I'm only giving it a 6 out of 10 was because it was slightly better than the first part, but there was still some parts of it that needs to be worked on, such as the grammatical errors and punctuation errors that I spotted, and try not to put too many cliches in the story is my honest to God thing. Is try not to add too many cliches in the story. Like, that's my advice if you're gonna write another pasta, Affan Jamsari, is try not to put too many cliches in the story. Because if you put too many cliches in the story, it just doesn't make your story good. I'm not bashing this story or anything. I'm not. This one was slightly better. It just needs some improvement. But other than that, the story was decent. It's not perfect, but it does provide pretty good detail. So I guess that's probably all I have to really say about this story. But the story was not bad. I'm not gonna lie, it was not a bad story. It does need some work, but I think this story does have really good potential, and it still does. So just need some, well, kind of, good concept with it. But I definitely have to say, the story was not terrible. It just needs some improvement. But yeah, other than that, it was a decent story. So anyways, with that being the case, and with that being said, what did you guys think about this curry pasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode, and if you happen to be brand new here on this channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload, so then you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro, because I'm out.